This is the textbook section on the French and Indian War, part of the invasion unit in which we answer the question, what drives change? Introduction. While the British established colonies along the Atlantic coast of North America, the French settled the land farther west. French explorers claimed the Ohio River Valley, the Mississippi River Valley, the Great Lakes region, Louisiana, and large portions of Canada. Competition over land and the fur trade, as well as rivalries in Europe, eventually led France and England to war. Native American tribes found themselves divided between the two nations, making alliances with both sides. Start of the war. When British fur traders began moving westward into the Ohio River Valley, the French and their Native American allies threatened the British and began to build forts for protection. They also captured and rebuilt a fort at the head of the Ohio River and renamed it Fort Duquesne. This angered the British, who in 1753 sent a young major named George Washington to persuade the French to leave. After several attacks on either side, the French and Indian War had officially begun by 1754. The conflict spreads. Both the British and French recognized that they would need help in order to win the conflict, and both sides turned to Native Americans for their assistance. They even armed their allied tribes and encouraged them to fight against one another. Leaders in England also knew they could not afford to lose to their main European rival, France, even in a fight across the Atlantic Ocean. When General Edward Braddock suffered multiple defeats, Secretary of State William Pitt increased British efforts to emerge victorious. He sent well-respected generals to America and borrowed money to pay colonial troops. Over the next few years, the British turned the war in their favor, eventually capturing the French cities of Quebec and Montreal. The Treaty of Paris. Though fighting between France and Britain carried on in other parts of the world for several more years, Britain ultimately won the war. In 1763, the two sides finally settled the dispute by signing the Treaty of Paris. The agreement granted Britain North American land east of the Mississippi River. As a reward for their help during the war, France gave Spain New Orleans and the rest of the Louisiana Territory. Britain also made a deal with Spain, in exchanging Cuba and the Philippines for control over Florida. The Treaty of Paris greatly expanded British territory in North America while removing all French claims on the continent.